Welcome to the Dr. TK Show. My goal on this podcast is to help you step into the most abundant version of yourself. We'll dive into abundance mindset, exploring various streams of income, and I will share life hacks so that you can live the lifestyle you desire. Now, as a mom and wife, I've merged my knowledge as a clinical psychologist and professor for over 20 years into building a multi-six-figure service-based business and a seven-figure digital product business doing what I love. I believe you can create a wildly abundant life and business unapologetically, dream big, enjoy life, and make a huge impact. So if you're ready to achieve your biggest goals in your life and in your business with the lifestyle that you deserve, you're in the right place. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, great day, y'all. Welcome back to the podcast. And so in today's episode, I am going to break down the experience and takeaways that me and three other therapists from Orlando, Florida had during our 2-day VIP experience, also known as our in-person mastermind for the public. And so I am in another series in December of 2024. I am going to break down the mastermind launch in terms of what it took to launch the product, things that I learned, things that I would tweak for the next time if we did an event like this. But for this particular episode, I do want to talk about how I positioned the mastermind, the event itself, as a time for expanding what I consider collective growth and cultivating an abundance mindset amongst my either new or existing clients. And so if you are new to this series in the podcast, thus far, I have recorded 2 previous episodes on planning of having an abundance focused itinerary. For that, I'm going to mention Disney a lot. You don't have to like Disney. You don't have to have been to Disney, but I'm really sharing what Disney does in terms of expansion and creativity and how really me and my family adopt the life first business model, which means that I do a lot of work-life integration with boundaries, of course, and myself and my family space to enjoy life with spontaneity. And then in the second part, I talked about like the travel day experience, what that does for my son, what that does for us, some travel hacks, and then also that time is wealth, especially when you are choosing to either go to a venue or you're hosting an event. And what choice do you make in terms of budget or time wealth with where you stay? So today, let's actually dive into the mastermind day. So the mastermind was on a Monday and Tuesday. The makeup of our clients were all licensed providers that lived in Tampa, the surrounding area, or Orlando, Florida. 2 out of the 3 participants are actually our DTA coaches. So I really love when our clients continue to invest their time into expansion because our coaches did our private practice program and now they are hosting their own events, having coaching programs and different type of packages as it relates to digital products and live events and speaking. And then we had one participant who had never done any of our programs, but she actually had been following me apparently for a couple of years. So this also goes to show for those of you who feel like you are measuring your progress in your business according to vanity metrics like likes and views, you never know how somebody's watching you. Not who's watching you, how somebody's watching you. And the last couple of people this year that have joined our paid products and programs, they have told me that they have been following me, no lie, for 3 to 5 years. And 5 means that they were following me before I even launched my first group coaching program because I was only doing one-on-one coaching and I was doing like podcasting and lives and things like that. So that just goes to show that consistency, even though I've evolved and have talked about different things, it matters to people when they can see that a business is consistent with the stance that you take for me to be authentic to who I am. And that it's okay to change my mind and evolve for the good. So the third participant who attended, we actually talked back and forth in the DM. So again, I'm going to throw in some business nuggets here. Don't be afraid to send out a voice note because these days we use ManyChat automation bots in the DM. Like, that ain't no surprise. It ain't me sitting here commenting every time, giving you a link. But at the same time, I'll go and check to see if there were any questions after the link was sent. I see what the conversation has been before the link was sent so that I can follow up and actually ask a question. And me and this third participant went back and forth a few messages with me wanting to know if the event would be a good fit for her. We did have an application, but I said, you know what? If she's willing to talk in the DM, let's just make this an application. Like, I just try to remove steps to make things simple. Okay. And so I felt as though through our conversation, she would be a good match. But just in case, to make sure we tie up all loose ends, because I'm going to be meeting these individuals in person, and I also knew who already was coming, which was always already my clients. And I know them already, may not have met them in person, like one of them ever, but I wanted to make sure that everybody would gel well, especially when it's a 2-day in-person event. That's what I'm really big on, is energy. So we had a 15 to 20 minute intention setting call where I like pretty much vetted her for the event. And then she hit me up in the DM and said, I'm good. I already secured my spot. So we did that, and then we all met in Orlando, Florida. So the prep was me putting them in a Telegram group together and encouraging them to connect. Then the other portion that I really love that they took ownership of is that they actually met outside of our prep meeting. We met with them, me and my team member. We met with them on Zoom about 2 or 3 weeks before I went to Orlando, just so that I can now see all of them at once. I think one person wasn't able to make it, but they watched the replay. And I really just spent that time not teaching anything, but going over what to expect in the room. Now, the great part is the person who wasn't there was one of our DTA coaches, but she was part of our mastermind for 3 years. So she knows exactly what to expect during these live events, which is an increase in thought processes, an increase in ideas, and you really having to slow your brain down to prioritize what you're going to work on and implement when you leave to make your ROI for your investment make sense. So she had already told them this, and then I decided to reiterate it and then just share some logistical things about what we're going to cover. And one thing that I also like to know before they come to the event is, what stream of income are you going to be focused on? And even though if there's space, you can bring up another stream, but I want them to be very mindful that I want them to build out a full launch with content, calendar, emails, using ChatGPT in the room, all the things, because I want them to be able to go hit the ground running as soon as they leave. And if you try to focus on too many things, too many streams of income, it's not going to work and you're going to feel overwhelmed. And that's not abundant, right? So that prep meeting went extremely well. Then, of course, they're talking before we got there in Telegram. So I really just love when, y'all commune with each other, right? And so we met up in the front of the building. We, went up the elevator, went to the space, the conference room. I go over that in the previous episode. And it was really nice also to go to lunch with them. We had like almost 2 hours. Because it was not 8 people, it gave me way more flexibility with time. I will say that when we've had a room with 8 people, we still accomplish everything, but we really got to stay on schedule, if that makes sense, because I have to make sure that everybody gets their opportunity to ask questions, to speak, to have a hot seat, and for me actually to look at their work, for me to help them build out their emails for ChatGPT, which we did for a few people as examples, especially if they had not launched the product yet. Some people that come to these VIP experiences have already launched, so they're there to tweak or refresh their systems or get fresher ideas to then relaunch it again, and they want to pitch it to the group, which is fine. So going into the context, without giving away all of the intellectual property that we talked about, right, is my goal for this particular year is to physically give them materials so that when they leave, they're equipped to understand different types of ways they can launch their product. They are equipped with how to feed a AI system to help them craft out ideas and organize their thoughts for copywriting, like email, sales page. They understand what a funnel is and what's in a funnel to secure a sale. We also looked at creating content based off of their product, and we actually helped them build out their content ideas related to that product, so you can see how everything goes together. We did hot seat questions we had abundance activities and let them script out their vision for their business as though it's the end of next year. We had conversations around them limiting themselves and recognizing it in the room, and so many more things. And when I tell y'all, when I look at the Vegas Mastermind that had 3 participants plus my team member plus one of the guest speakers who also participated, so a total of 4 plus me plus a team member. Then coming over to Orlando, and it was, my husband was upstairs, so he was just there to help me set up and break down. And it was pretty much me by myself with my team members. And I'll get into in the next series when I break down the debriefing of, like, I chose to not need a team member for this particular event because my husband was there. And then also I had knew more than half of the room. You know what I'm saying? So if it were all new people, I would have definitely made the decision to bring another team member because I don't know everybody's background, and my team can catch stuff sometimes that I can't if we're just talking. So the breakthroughs in the room were so good. Like, I don't even know what word I want to use to describe it. But if I collectively looked at both of these experiences, but the tail end was Orlando, it was a unique experience for me to actually see a group of people that can actually connect in a physical space more than once. Now, the same thing happened in Vegas. Out of the 3 people, 2 of them actually came from the same state or city. So they actually connected before we came to the event, and I believe they connected while we were there. They went out to eat, and then they connected when they went home. The other person in Vegas was from California, while the other 2 people were from the East Coast. So it goes to show that adults can get new friends, right? Another thing that I enjoyed in terms of having it in Orlando, Florida, is even though we were not on Disney property, because for me, Disney represents magic in a bubble in which I can ignore all the chaos, kind of like people do a social media cleanse. I do a people cleanse. And I will go into the bubble. That's why I go so much at Disneyland. We're Magic Key holders, which means that we have annual passes. Because when I feel like I just need to smile sometimes on days that I don't feel like it, but I got the energy to go to Disney, mostly with my youngest son, we'll just get up and go for a couple of hours. Go grab a churro. I mean, at the time of this recording, it's Wednesday. I might go today. You know what I'm saying? But it's just nice to be in a space where you feel abundant. And let me be clear. I feel very much abundant in my home. I feel abundant when I'm having my coaching calls on Zoom. But let's be also clear. Service providers are very isolated, even if you're in a physical office. Even if there are multiple offices in your office, like a virtual suite, you are still by yourself with your client. Think about it. If you do individual therapy, you see your client, they leave, you go to the bathroom, you get some water, you need a brain break, and then you see another client. If you don't take a nap, or maybe you do your progress notes, and then you see another client. Tell me what type of collective experience you're truly having. An office is a great way to see clients outside of your home, but let's be all the way clear. One of the reasons why I love hosting events beyond online is that it's not the same. And if you are here to tell me that it's going to give you the same experience, I'm telling you that is a bold-faced lie. You probably don't know because you haven't experienced events. So I'm going to go ahead and do a shameless plug, okay? If you have not heard of our Life First Business Conference, it will be taking place in July of 2025. So you got plenty of time to plan this trip. But go ahead and secure that ticket for that early bird special, at least right now, because the early bird special will not be hitting throughout the new year, if you get my language. So we have never had a live event that you can secure for 2 days at the magnitude of what we're going to be talking about to transform your life and your business at the same time for $497. You robbing me. Literally. We still got to fly out there. We got to pay for the venue space. And I'm just bringing up logistics because y'all business owners. $497 is a rob. You feel me? So go ahead and cop that ticket because the price will go up. All right, moving along. So it was a unique, beautiful experience. The environment itself did encourage me and my clients to think expansively about their goals. A couple of the individuals, once that we did the scripting activity, realized that they were dumbing down what my teenagers say. They were dumbing down their gifts. They were dumbing down what they actually can accomplish. And they actually said, I'm going to go back tonight and I'm going to rewrite my script. And then I said, well, out of curiosity, what do you think is going to like change. And they said specifically this number, because I don't know why I feel like I'm limiting myself of how much money I can make. And I said, ooh, go ahead. What's the real number? And she shared the real number. And I said, yeah, go ahead and scratch that first number out and write it down. Because when you declare what that new thing or number is, you start ideally to show up as the person who makes that amount. Think about it as a comfortable goal. It's in the book called The Big Leap. You have a medium goal and you got a hairy, scary goal. Put the hairy, scary goal down on paper. It is okay. And we also had them create an abundance check so that they can actually physically see the number, even if it was scary to write all those zeros. And I put a twist on it and I said, I don't want you to give me the number for the whole year. I want you to give me the number for this stream of income. Ooh, we're not doing no math here. I want you to put out a number. So moving forward into the 2-day event, outside of us being in the room, going out to lunch, and then on the second day, we actually had 2 participants versus 3. One of our participants actually was unable to stay for the second day, but it really just gave the 3 of us on the second day an opportunity to dive deeper in what they needed, because the other person who was not able to be there, they had been to 3 to 4 years of my live events. So it doesn't mean that they may not have missed out on anything, but they're very familiar with what to do after the event is what I'm saying. And our clients who come to these events, one of the bonuses that we gave them, because it's more of a deeper experience, VIP, less people, more feels like our actual mastermind coaching programs, but they're not committed to a cohort, is we gave them 30 days of Voxer to get additional support. So now I want to shift into talking about the flexibility of the actual work setup that I have, and that it actually allowed me to have what's considered like intentional pauses. So intentional pauses for me, or shifts, would be if I chose to, which initially I was, but I was like filling the group so much, I'm like, so let's just go out to lunch. If I feel, depending on the energy in the room, and the energy is not bad, but sometimes if the energy is making my brain actually go at 5,000, I need to actually contain my clients with being able to keep them on track to get what they came for. So they can be all over the place, but I need to contain them, kind of like a therapist, right? So if I feel kind of discombobulated, I will actually step back and eat my lunch by myself or go to my hotel room and take a break. This time I didn't feel the need to do that. So I was like, hey, let's just go out to eat, together. And we went to a cool low-key spot that had just opened for like a brunch. So we ate, and I was able to talk to them. This was like a bonus, is I was able to talk to them about a stream of income that had nothing to do with what we were talking about in the mastermind, which was group practice, where group practices are going, what issues they're running into in terms of those who had already started a group practice, hiring. And I also was able to share with them what they may be able to get if they actually consider joining our mastermind. So if you are listening to me talk right now, and it is still November 2024, and you realize you missed the bug when we actually opened up applications for the mastermind, just go over to my DM and say, hey, I would like information on the mastermind. The way the process is going to work, I'm going to send you an application, a link. You fill it out, because there is a qualification process. This is not like coming to the VIP experience. This is you working with me for 6 to 7 intimate months, and me making sure that, one, you're a good fit for the other mastermind students that have already been accepted. That is huge for me. So I'll have you fill out an application. And to me, someone who doesn't have time to fill out an application doesn't have time to scale their business, because a scalable business is really about leadership and a different mindset shift. It's not about strategy. I'm not saying that marketing and sales is not a part of that process, but in order for you to even lead your team with growing your business, making more sales, getting more clients, expanding into group practice, digital products, then you have to have good leadership skills. And a good leader knows how to slow down and make sure that they're making the right investment. So just wanted to throw that in there. So outside of flexibility, one of the things that I can take away is that, again, I felt like I was in a very abundant, neighborhood. I was very happy that we were able to stay with a friend and literally go downstairs, go to the event, come back upstairs, and me shift to mom mode. It really, honestly, on a personal level, I was able to show my son, because he only has seen me work in Vegas. He was able to see me shift from setting up the room, seeing me and my clients go to lunch, because then they went somewhere else because they knew I wanted my privacy with my clients, and then me being able to shift to mom mode in the evening. And he would say like, Mommy, where your friends? And it's so cool for my kids to be able to see the variations of what entrepreneurship from a degree and from me having resilience, what it can get you, and for me to be driven and ambitious. Because that's something that I really drive into my kids. Like, if you want to make a vision board, you want the toy? Like, I have my son on a regimented schedule where when we go to Target, even though I do not want to go to the toy section, and it doesn't mean he don't ask me to buy it. If I tell him no, or not right now, because 6-year-olds have a hard concept of like later, right? Then he'll just automatically say, well, can you take a picture of it for me and send it to my iPad so I can put it on my vision board? And he does not forget. He'll say when we get home, can you print it? Can I put it on my vision board? Like, I got so many pictures of this boy with toys, right? And the crazy part is he don't even know what the toys are. But he just knows it's big because he's a big dreamer. So he wants everything with a big box. And I'm like, you ain't even going to play with that. Like, you don't even play with the stuff in his house. But at the end of the day, it's just nice for him to take on my indirect influence of abundance and expansion thinking. So that's something that I also want you to think about if you have little people watching you or even a partner. You never know how you're moving in your career and in your business, how that's going to show up in your personal life with your family, friends, and relationships. Okay. So again, I flip-flop through productivity and being able to be present in an abundant work-life model. Okay. So this wraps up this particular episode. Again, I loved the Orlando and the Vegas Mastermind. One of the reasons why I did choose in the beginning of the year, because it was not planned, to have these two events is because we decided to do a year off from the mastermind to recalibrate. There were a lot of things happening in therapist businesses. So I wanted to give everybody time to really figure out, especially those who are already in our communities, because those are the people who really go into our mastermind. It's part of our product suite ascension model because they're already used to how I teach. They know I'm really big on systems, leadership, and abundance mindset. So about 90% of the people who have went into our mastermind, which is like 10% of our population or our list, actually know what's about to, come down the pipeline. So, and they come from our community already. So I wanted to take a year off also to get some things in order in my back office, in my personal life. And the break was good. I learned a lot this year. And I still chose to have live events because that was something that I felt like I was missing. And we did not have a conference. And so we had a conference the year before, and then we didn't have the VIP experience. So we kind of like experimented with flip-flopping. And so next year, we will be having the conference that is on, some overlapping topics of like launching products, but the venue space can host more people than 8. And we will also be hosting a 6-month container of a mastermind where students will just be able to renew at a 6-month container versus like an 11-month, because we realized 11 months was a little too long for some people to maybe need a break, or maybe want to shift to another stream of income to have like a semester break per se, like the next round. So as a recap, if you want to meet us in New York, I would highly encourage you, grab your ticket as an early bird special. They are going to go up very, very soon. And if, again, you think that you're a good candidate, $5,000, if not higher, but it does depend on if you're part-time or full-time. So make sure you just explain that in your application when you hit me up in the DM. If you want to actually get the application for the mastermind, just DM me on Instagram at Dr. TK Psych. Let me know or ask me any questions. I'll send you a voice note back. Maybe we can do the whole application in the DM. It just depends on you and your availability and your ability to respond swiftly, because we have wrapped up technically the interviews, but for those who are very ambitious, it ain't over until I say it's over, until the cohort starts. Okay. And so if you're interested and you think that you're a good fit and you're ready to scale your business into digital products, group practice, and or you want to expand into building out one-to-many services in the community, like groups, pitching yourself to agencies so that you can build out groups and speaking engagements into like nonprofits, which is what I'm really good at, then it's something we can definitely chat about. All right. So I will see y'all in the next part of this series, and we are going to shift from the business to what it's like to be in a state of gratitude and excitement of being in the Disney bubble, and it allowing me to trigger my creativity for my business, especially at the end of the year. All right, y'all. I will see y'all in the next episode, or I'll talk to y'all in the next episode. And check out YouTube to do the videos on the actual behind the scenes of this entire part of the series. All right, y'all. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast show today. I hope you found the episode inspiring and filled with practical tips to help you step into the abundant version of yourself. Now, I would like to connect with you, so make sure to head down to the show notes for additional abundant resources. Until the next time, keep dreaming big, living abundantly, and making a lasting impact. I will see you in the next episode.